And I think we're always afraid of showing the behind the scenes because we want everything in the wedding industry has to be so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like sometimes it's more educational and gives them a more confidence to book something if they know.
A planner educator,
Yeah.
what common misconceptions do you see come up again and again and again surrounding what planners actually do?
Oh, this is a good one. I think there's misconceptions on many levels, right? I think a lot of clients who don't really understand what it is we do think that we're some sort of catch-all for every other vendor that they might not want to hire. So like, our DJ isn't an MC. You'll do it though, right? I'm like, no. Our caterer doesn't want to serve. You guys will serve. Early in my career, I got an inquiry where the girl said, we need you to come to the park and coordinate our wedding so that you can carve the chicken and serve it.
I
I was
love
like,
it. That's
no.
amazing.
Like, and I was so early in my career that I had a moment where I stared at the email and I was like, should I do this? And I was like, oh my God, no, what am I thinking? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. And so, and that, I think that's the job of the planner and also our wedding industry media to really help educate that, like, as the planner, I'm like and I cannot believe I'm going to use a sports analogy, but like, I'm like the captain of the team. I'm the director of the play. We'll do that.
Perfect.
Right. So
Seems more on brand.
Right. If one of the actors calls in sick, the director is not going to step in. That's just not what happens. Right. So it's that sort of mentality that I think needs to be communicated more to the clients, at least, to let them know that, like, hey, the following things, like on my contract, it literally says things that I will not do. I will not MC your wedding. I will not serve food. I will not, I'm not, there are things that I will do, like tidy up, right? Like take out trash in the bridal suite. We've done that like hundreds of times, but not to be disgusting, but like if someone vomits, that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not on me.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, as we move through the process with our clients, like, we sort of we affirm this all the time, right? Like, okay, so that's going to be your MC, and that's going to be, the cake is going to be delivered by the baker because they have the right vans for it. Don't try to get your aunt to bring the cake because in the car it's not going to work. Like, there are structures in place here for these things. But as far as venue and planner, I think the only time I ever see any kind of friction is like maybe with a floor plan. Like, do they do it? Do we do it? Whose timeline are we using? Like, some of the venues who want to do everything, or the venues who have coordinators on staff do like, well, we have ours. I'm like, well, I'm working for the client, so please just let me do it. Let's all work together. It's better if we do it together. So stuff like that. I think I've seen a little bit of friction, but I also think maybe it's just because of where I am in my career. I don't get a lot of that friction anymore, because I think when they see like, oh, Renee's here, planner's here, like, I'm like, oh, we don't have to do as much. And that's the feeling I want for my venues. Like, I want them to be like, oh, Renee's here. She's got it. We can relax. Yeah.
Totally.
Because then everyone feels more calm about the whole thing.
Absolutely. When that discussion comes up with the clients, and I think specifically this is an interesting topic of education, right? Between all of the vendors, I think collectively. But I am also, probably as you are as well, a part of so many different groups and Facebook discussions where there's a constant complaint about, these unbelievable couples who come in and they want this amazing experience for a couple $1,000, and people who are constantly undervaluing the industry. Do you think there is maybe an over obsession on complaining about that? And rather just saying, like, you can have a taco. You could go to a taco shop and get a taco for $1.25. Right. And it could be the best damn taco. And you could love it, but it's not going to be steak from Morton's or Ruth's Chris or Fleming's. It's just not.
It's just not. Yep.
It doesn't mean it's bad.
No, it's not going to be a homemade tortilla. It's not going to be homemade pico de gallo. These are going to be you can get any kind of taco you want. Yeah. I use a purse analogy all the time. That's what I say to my clients. I go, look, you can buy a purse at Target or you can buy a purse at Louis Vuitton. They both hold the same amount of stuff. So it's up to you, right? We can get a band that's $5,000. We can get one that's $12,000. There is a difference in quality, 100%. Mm-hmm. I think the other thing too with the education, and as far as our clients have no idea what anything costs, right? True. And I think venues bear the brunt of this unless they come in with a planner. Venues are the first piece of sticker shock that they receive, right? They love this venue. They look at it online. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. They want it. They're dreaming of it. And then they get there and they're like, it's $20,000 in LA, right? And then I get the phone calls from people who are looking for a wedding planner or they're venue shopping and they can't believe how expensive it is. And I'm like, well, that's not the half of it, friends. Like, no, it's Los
Wait till you
Angeles.
tell my pricing and then my
Right.
florist pricing, my vendor.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's constantly coming up against the uncomfortableness of talking about money with someone who's a virtual stranger. In the sake of a venue, I feel like there's also a little bit of it that's like, they can see the product, right? It's $20,000. Here's what you get. It's a beautiful building. It's tables and chairs and you can see it. And it's up to the client if that is worth it to them. With a service-based person like myself, it really is harder to sell, right? Because we're selling the idea of us, right? And they have to really like us and trust us in a 30-minute phone call and think, yeah, I'm gonna trust this lady with $100,000 worth of services. Like, it's a lot, right? Mm-hmm. The thing that I think venues, I think everyone in the wedding industry can do a better job of this, is that our clients, they don't really understand what they're paying for, right? And sometimes I have to contextualize it with the client when they're like, well, I love this venue, but why is it so much more money? And I'm like, well, because it's near the beach and they have a lot of saltwater damage and there's a lot, the insurance is higher and they have to pay a staff and it's part of it is owned. I have to like really work on like, this is why. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then suddenly they're okay to book the venue. And I think we're always afraid of showing the behind the scenes because we want everything in the wedding industry has to be so perfect. Mm-hmm. But it's like, sometimes it's more educational and gives them a more confidence to book something if they know, like for photographers, right? Photographers always advertise like, okay, so this is my 8-hour package and this is how many images you get. They have no idea. They don't know. What I want photographers to say is, this is an 8-hour package with this many images. It's going to take me this many hours to edit on the back end. Like, that's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
Lay it out. Start laying it out. One of the venues, that I'm preferred at is a historic women's venue run by a board of directors. So when you pay that high venue rental fee, you're also supporting the women's club that has been around since the 1900s. You better believe I tell my clients that, because they're like, oh, that's amazing. I'm like, yes. And that's why this place costs more than the others. But don't you feel better about that purchase?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Renee, you said something that was really it really hit me and really resonated. And I will kind of wrap up here because I know for sure I could talk to you for another hour and a half and we might lose some people. So we might have to do another one, right?
Sure, let's do it.
You made the analogy of the purse from Target or the purse from Louis Vuitton. Yeah. And there's this idea of, value, what is important to you. Maybe the purses are the exact same size. Maybe they'll hold the same amount. Maybe they'll last the same amount, but you're going to get a different feeling from one. You're going to be looked at, perceived differently. You're going to be like, there's all this other peripheral stuff. And it's crazy because what you said about the service business is strikingly more challenging because you're not showing them a bag. You don't know what that feels like until you've done it. And weddings are hopefully a one-time thing, right?
Sure.
And so if it's this idea of like, or even a 2 or 3 time thing, let's say, but over a lifetime, it's not a purse that you're going to buy and buy and buy again. And you can't see it and you can't understand the value of it until it's already gone.